Another bumper. Gyokeres has joined Arsenal. Let's talk about it, people. Now, we'll leave the fee chat to the side because you lot know where I stand on these fees and strikers and attackers and players, etc., etc. But let's talk about the player joining Arsenal. Arsenal have finally signed a striker who actually looks like he can score goals. Who would have thought it? After, 5 years, Arteta, he's finally signed a striker that actually looks like they could score goals. So let's talk about this move then, because for me, this is very, very interesting for Arsenal, right? Gyokeres is 27 years old? I mean, he's coming off the back of two crazy goal scoring seasons. Like, you have to obviously caveat the fact that he is playing in Portugal. You do. Absolutely you do. And I'm checking my phone because I'm trying to pull up his stats. You have to caveat that. You do. And I've spoken myself on the dangers of signing from the Portuguese league, because there's a heavy tax that you do have to apply because of the level of opposition that he or many other attackers from that league are playing against week on week. But it's annoying. It's mad. Strikers from that league actually used to be really good. Like, you saw Falcao maybe 10, 11 years ago. Falcao was elite, world-class striker. And he batted up that league as well. He did. And I think with Victor Gyokeres as well, I think the numbers are so blinding and he's so relentless in the goal scoring that I've literally had to change my opinion on this guy. Because I remember last summer, I was having an argument with my boy, Ranty, and he was saying that Spurs should have moved for Gyokeres instead of Solanke. And I was like, you know what, I hear that. I wouldn't be mad at Gyokeres, but I can't begrudge the club for not wanting to spend. And at the time, I think it was like £88 million. £88 million, that was what they were quoting for Gyokeres. Of course, the fee is lower. It's lower now. But a year later, I think it's fair to say he was right. Because even if I apply tax, 54 goals in 52 games is mad. And then the previous season before that, 43 goals in 50 games is mad. And then when you watch him play, the guy just looks hungry for goals. And he's so physically imposing. Now, of course, coming to the Premier League, your physicality won't be as much of an advantage in this league as it was in Portugal, because the defenders are faster. You're up against Van Dijk, you're up against Konate, you're up against, well, he's not obviously going to be playing against his own teammates in Gabriel and Saliba, but you get my point. You're up against a higher caliber of defender. But be that as it may, this guy is a goal-getter. He is. In the Champions League this season as well, I'm trying to remember how many goals he scored. I think he scored, I'm looking at it, 6 goals in 8 appearances in the Champions League. He scored. He delivered. And then the season prior, I think they were playing in the Europa League, he scored 5 and 9. So he spreads his goals. He's getting obviously the lion's share in the league, but he's also scoring in cup competitions. He's scoring in Europe as well. And he looks highly available. I mean, 50 appearances or 52 appearances this recent season, 50 appearances last season, 50 appearances the season before, before that for Coventry, and then 47 appearances the season before that for Coventry. So this guy looks like he keeps himself in good nick. And let's be honest, the goal tally has been increasing. And the point I'm making is this: like, the Portuguese tax is real. Look at Darwin Núñez. It's real. Darwin Núñez made a mockery of that league. Well, I say made a mockery. He scored like 30-something league goals once. And then he came and he stank. But somehow I get the feeling that Gyokeres will be different. Because I feel like with Gyokeres, there's just this really good ability to score goals. He looks a good finisher. He looks a good goal scorer. And Ranty, if you're watching this, hands held up high. Because I shouldn't have been so understanding of that conversation that we were having when I was like, okay, cool. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. And what I meant by that is, okay, cool. I understand the detractors with Solanke last year, But if he's already playing in this league, he's just come off 19 goals. I'll go with the guy, the known quantity rather than the unknown quantity, who could be better. Now, I didn't say Solanke was better than Gyokeres, but now I'm looking at it, I'm just like, he looks way better than Solanke as a striker. And that's Solanke. And then if I put him in an Arsenal team now, you look at them, they lack box presence, right? You look at the last season, they're relying on Kai Havertz. How many games? Liverpool, Man United, countless games where Kai Havertz costs Arsenal because he's just not good. He's either not in the right position, or when he is in the right position, he fumbles. You look at the Man City game, he had the biggest chance, the first chance of the game, and he hits it wide. If that's Gyokeres, that's 1-0. That's 1-0. Arsenal need killers, bro. They need guys who can put the ball in the back of the net. They need guys who can decide games. They do. They need guys who can decide games. It can't just be Bukayo Saka, Bukayo and Inshallah. It can't. They need other strings to their bows. Yeah? They need more weapons. And this guy could be a weapon for Arsenal. When was the last time Arsenal have had a striker that scored 20 plus league goals? It's Aubameyang. It's Aubameyang. That's the last time they had a striker. And he left, what, in 2021? 2021 he left. Since then, they've had Gabriel Jesus and they've had Kai Havertz. They've had Eddie Nketiah. They've even had Marino up top. Bro, they need a gunman. That much is clear. They need someone who's going to take the onus to score goals every game. I'm hungry, relentless to score goals. And this is what this guy looks like. It's worth the punt. Now, the fee is the fee. Yeah? I'm not going to debate on the fee, to be honest. I think my opinion stands. But that being said, it's cheaper than it would have cost last season. My opinion, when I say my opinion stands, you know what I mean. Like, I have a general beef with how overinflated prices are, because good strikers are in short. There's a shortage of good strikers, so there's of course a higher premium placed on good strikers. But that being said, when you look at the fees that other strikers have gone for, this one isn't as bad. Yeah, and certainly for a club of Arsenal's size and financial clout, if you're spending 52 million on guys like Madueke, if you're spending 65 million on Kai Havertz, then it's more than worth exploring with Gyokeres to see if he can be your solution up top for the next 3, 4, 5 years. It's definitely worth the gamble. Absolutely. It still is a gamble. It is. But it's much less of a gamble when you look at his ability to score goals. Yes, Portuguese league, but still, his ability to score goals is there. If you're a good bagsman, you're a good bagsman. And he looks a good bagsman. He looks like someone, unfortunately, who's going to eat at Arsenal. When you look at all of the chances that are missed by Havertz, by Jesus, all it needs is someone who's, like I've always said, a competent striker gets goals. A very good striker gets hella goals. So we need to see how Gyokeres adapts to the Premier League and see which bucket he falls under. Because if we're going off his track record at Portugal, he looks like someone who has the potential to score a lot of goals for Arsenal. I mean, a lot of goals. A lot of goals. We've watched the games. We've seen it. We've seen how useless some of their options are up top now. You even saw Mikel Merino go in as the 9 and he was scoring goals. Mikel Merino. He does nothing outside the box. And he was scoring goals for Arsenal because he was just in the right positions. And Gyokeres, he can use his head. I'm not pausing pause culture. He can use his head. He can use his left foot. He can use his right foot. Obviously, we know his right foot, but he can use both feet. He scores various types of goals. He can score in transition. Of course, he's the obvious transition threat, but he just looks alive in the box. And that's what they need. Everyone says, okay, yeah, but the playing style's different. Arsenal are going to have more the ball. Teams are going to play Arsenal differently to how they play Sporting Lisbon. Yes, they are. You're right. There is going to be that element to it. Yes, teams are going to play Arsenal differently to how they play Sporting Lisbon. So Gyokeres maybe won't have as much of a transition as much space. But when you look at Arsenal, like, they do catch teams on the break a lot. They do catch teams on the break a lot, and a lot of their transitions breaks down because they got players doing the wrong things. They got guys like Kai Havertz fumbling the ball. They got guys like Odegaard not making the right pass, etc., etc. You bring in someone like Gyokeres, he improves their transition threat, and he improves their ability to win the tighter football matches as well, because even where there's not that much space, he will still do what he needs to do inside the box to find his space and score. So yeah, I think this is a very good signing for Arsenal. I'll be honest. He's growing on me. I think it gets to a point where you're like, this is too much now. Like, you're scoring all the time. Like, I have to take this seriously, and that's me the last year, because I was a bit he looks good, but how good is he? That's what I used to say a year ago, and now I'm like, this is too much, man. He's scoring at a rate that is just too ridiculous for you to ignore. You have to take the punt. So, unfortunately, fair play to Arsenal for taking the punt. I actually think it would be a good signing. Will it be enough to win the league? I don't know. I think they need more. I think they need more in the midfield, and I think they need more on the left-hand side. But you lot be the judge. Let me know in the comments.